is just approaching 8:15 Eastern, 5:15 Pacific. All right, we'll be speaking with James O'Keefe in just a moment. We're just getting him on the line from one of our mobile studios on the East Coast. But first, we're going to go ahead and play an excerpt from his expose of Al Sharpton. Let's go ahead and play some of that.
Who is Al Sharpton? Baptist minister? Television personality? Charlatan? Race baiter? Project Veritas decided to investigate Sharpton and talk with the people he claims he is trying to help. Their verdict? Sharpton is more sinner than saint.
I'm minding my business. Please just leave me alone. I told you the last time. Please just leave me alone. Put your hand behind your back.
Justice for Eric Gardner.
Who's your father?
Yeah, that was my father. I'm his oldest child.
So what, you think Al Sharpton is kind of like a crook in a sense? Like, you think he's like...
Al Sharpton seems to always find a cause, and lately he has shown up at a lot of funerals. In fact, his organization NAN, the National Action Network, often pays for them. It affords him center stage in the circus of a controversy.
We got to be here for the long haul. Michael Brown does not want to be remembered for a riot.
As Ferguson, Missouri heated up in the days after Michael Brown's death, Sharpton met with community leaders. Bishop Calvin Scott was troubled by what he heard.
I frankly was in one of his, I mean more than one, a couple of meetings, 2 or 3 meetings that he was in, and I think to some degree he sort of incites people for the wrong reason. You know, I just, you know, I'm in the gathering. He's got them all fired up, but I just sense that this is not the way you want to go. You know, when you got a fuse that's already lit, you don't need to add no more fire to it.
2 years ago, Sharpton took on the cause of Trayvon Martin. Darrell Parks is a lawyer who represented both the families of Trayvon Martin and Michael Brown. He has known and worked with Sharpton for years.
But Sharpton is all about his money.
And there may be a little truth to that. I'll admit that. That's the only truth, the only thing I'll admit to.
The daughter of Eric Gardner, the religious community in Ferguson, and a prominent lawyer for the Trayvon Martin and Michael Brown families believe they know who the real Al Sharpton is, and they are not alone.
I just try to keep my money away from him.
I don't blame you.
Yeah.
I certainly don't blame you. You got the administrative fees and administrative costs. You got all this cost. By the end of the day, you got maybe 10% of what you donated actually really going and hitting the streets. Sharpton is going to be all right. He's been all right forever. He knows how to make money and get money. They're shakedown guys.
Yeah.
You know, let's call it what it is.
And that was just part of the 7-minute, 51-second expose that James O'Keefe of Project Veritas has posted online earlier in the week. And we are pleased to be joined by James now from a secret location. We're not going to let his location out tonight because James, you put out the night before you put this out saying that this could be one of the biggest ones in your journalistic career, and you were afraid for your life. Are you still afraid for your life at this time?
Hey, Jason, good to be with you. We're actually at CPAC. We're recruiting videographers this week. MSNBC, the Daily Mail just reported that they're about to fire Al Sharpton. MSNBC is going to fire Al Sharpton.
Okay,
and
so you heard it first. You heard it first here. This is an exclusive here on the Evan Miller Report. So for those of you tuning in, Al Sharpton is now going to be fired now from MSNBC. Why don't you go ahead and get us into more, because you have the exclusive information here. This is just coming new into our newsroom here.
Yeah, that's what the Daily Mail reported, and this is happening as we speak. And, you know, do I fear for my life? On Saturday, I tweeted that out because I did feel a little scared for reasons I really don't want to comment on. Occasionally, not very often, but sometimes I do feel a little afraid. And And I expressed that. Frankly, I wish I didn't say that publicly because it got blown up so big. But if you're put in some of the hairy situations and go into some of the uncomfortable places that our people go, you would probably be pretty afraid too.
That's understandable, and in this kind of business, and we've seen this in Los Angeles with the likes of local reporters like David Goldstein out here. Sometimes investigating government officials or just investigating people, period. Sometimes it can be dangerous because people will sometimes hold a grudge because they don't want to be put on the TV or they don't want to be put on the radio after a big investigative report such as yours coming out. And you are letting you have exposed Al Sharpton for truly what he is. He is only out to make money.
Well, that's not what I think. That's what the families and the victims think. That's what they said in our video about him. So it's not about my words. It's about the words of the families, and the the picture's worth 1,000 words, and you can see the anguish and the pain in the face of Erica Garner when you watch the video. That's what you see and witness. So it's the video kind of speaks for itself in this instance.
I understand, James, and I was more saying that your expose of interviewing the families of Trayvon Martin, Eric Garner, and Michael Brown, you were one of those pieces. You were you provided the service and the opportunity for these people to speak out and really say how they feel.
Yeah, well, that Veritas is usually stinging. In this case, it would have been Sharpton, but we weren't stinging Sharpton. We were revealing how his allies felt. And one of the things that we tell people the truth, that they will make the right call. And if people want to believe the press release written by National Action Network, which now basically says that Erica Garner and them are going to partner together, if they want to believe that, if they want to, then they can believe that, or they can believe their own ears and eyes and when they see the video. But ultimately, the story is pretty self-explanatory, and people can make their own minds when they see and hear what those people are saying.
Now, I want to bring up Eric Garner because you interviewed the family of Eric Garner. Now, in your video, I want to bring up the part in the video. This we were not able to broadcast on the air because of time constraints today, but people can see this fully online, and we have the link up on our Facebook page, facebook.com/The Evan Miller Report, for those who want to view your full expose of Al Sharpton. But I want to ask a little bit about how Eric Garner's family said that Al Sharpton paid for Mr. Gardner's funeral, but then the local representative of Sharpton was coming up to the family and acting like, okay, we paid for the funeral, we expect so much out of you now, we expect you to do these things to be able to pay for our services that we provide.
Yeah, she said that he paid for the funeral, and he, this is the agent of Al Sharpton, the one of the lieutenants of Al Sharpton's National Action Network, Cynthia Davis. Erica said that Cynthia Davis paid for her funeral, and now Erica owes her, and she has to put logos of Al Sharpton's organization on the various pamphlets and materials she's handing out when it's not about their organization, it's about her father. So she's talking about that, and she doubled down in the New York Post, front page story in the New York Post. She doubled down and said, yeah, it's true. Everything I said is true. So, like I said, it's them talking about it, not me expressing my opinion.
Yeah, and of course we have the mainstream press, the likes of MSNBC, which reported, and newspapers, the New York Post, are reporting that now all these people are recanting what they said over in your videos. Has there been any truth to that, or is just that more mainstream gunfire in trying to put a mirage over your expose?
Well, we had one person we talked to said on the undercover portion, we did not release this bit, but he feared of what would happen to him if he were to be honest and candid about what his thoughts were on Al Sharpton. So I think that might be a role. Is Al Sharpton intimidating them? But like I said, people can make their own minds. Do they want to believe the heartfelt statements made by Erica Garner on the videotape, or are they going to believe a press release that was written in coordination between Al Sharpton's group and Erica Garner after the story came out? You decide.
Absolutely, and this is not all that Al Sharpton has had to put up with this week. Al Sharpton's currently in a lawsuit with Comcast, and this will further make that case with this lawsuit. Obviously, this lawsuit has nothing to do with this recent expose that you put out, but it only adds that Al Sharpton is not a good guy to have dealings with.
Yeah, and I think nothing is more powerful than the victims' families, African American leaders. We had a pastor in St. Louis even said that he's trying to incite violence, incite hatred when he should be bringing people together. So there's a sort of chorus of voices that are talking about what he's done.
Now, is there anything in this recent expose that you have learned that you want to tell people here on the air tonight that you were not able to broadcast in that video that you have posted?
Well, it's released part 2 probably tomorrow, so I don't want to. That I tried confronting Al Sharpton at his office last Saturday, and
And this is the first time that you are telling us this. You haven't told anyone else, but you are releasing now a part 2, according to what you're telling us on this. So this is a follow-up to your first video that you put out on, I believe it was Tuesday.
Yes.
Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen,
right.
You heard it here first on the Evan Miller Report. We want to reiterate at the top of the broadcast, if you have not heard, according to the Daily Mail, and this is coming from James O'Keefe's mouth, right to our audience tonight, that Al Sharpton has now been fired from MSNBC due to the recent expose of Mr. Sharpton by James O'Keefe regarding what he has been doing in his private life regarding helping out the African American community and helping out and demanding money and extorting money out of the likes of Eric Garner, Michael Brown, and Trayvon Martin. So you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Now, James, when can we expect this part 2 to be put out?
It's probably going to be put out tomorrow morning. We're not quite sure. We're still finishing the production of it, so we shall see.
Absolutely. Now, we understood your website took a big hit when you put out the first video. Just a lot of people wanted to see this. Is your website server ready this time to be able to take the big load of people that is going to be viewing
We're
this?
having some website technical difficulties, and we're looking into it. We hope so. That's one of the things that has delayed us up to this point.
Okay, so you're just making sure that your server is ready at this time, and obviously, James, anytime you have a big story coming out like this, it is obviously a big deal. People want to view this; they want to see the information, and we have millions of people here in the United States and around the world who look at your exposés from time to time. Where can people go see the current expose you put out, and where can people go see part 2 when you release it tomorrow? What's your website?
ProjectVeritas.com. That's VERITAS. ProjectVeritas.com.
Okay, and if there is other people who are listening to this broadcast, and I'm speaking to the African American community, if there is other people who have had dealings with Sharpton similar to what Trayvon Martin, Michael Brown, or Eric Garner have dealt with, how can they contact you?
Send us a tip, an anonymous tip on our website, and we will get in touch with you. ProjectVeritas.com.
All right. That sounds great. James, thank you so much for coming on and explaining further your expose of Al Sharpton. We certainly appreciate it.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
All right, folks. That was James O'Keefe, the head of Project Veritas. And once again, just to reiterate, breaking news, and you heard it here on the SHR Media Networks, according to James O'Keefe tonight, that Al Sharpton has now been fired from MSNBC. I'm Jason Miller. You're listening to the Evan Miller Report. And we will be right back after these messages, right here on the Evan Miller Report.